What's happening, saber deuterinos? Alright, so I have had a lot of fun today. Last 2 days, actually. I have been working on weathering some hilts and prepping them, and I had a lot of fun with this one. So I did a video when I got back into town on my Korbanth Fallen kit that I got from my buddy Aaron at Fonts by Fours. He had to let it go, unfortunately, and I feel for him. I'm sorry, buddy, but I really appreciate it. I wanted this help, and I didn't plan on getting it anytime soon. But I did a review of it as just how it comes. This one, I'm just going to do a video on what I did today, which is weathering the hilt and prepping it with battle damage and whatnot, and then hopefully be installing it very soon. But I had a lot of fun weathering this thing. I mean, this hilt needs to be weathered. I mean, when it was shiny, I was holding it, and I was like, this thing feels great. I was walking around doing the whole, I got a new saber hilt to swing around and hold. And I fell asleep with it. Just like, you know, we all do it. Don't lie. Don't pretend like y'all don't sleep with your hilts. My girlfriend actually was like, did you sleep? And I was like, just keep it down, okay? She's sleeping. Yeah, she was like, did you sleep with that hilt last night? And I was like, I passed out holding it, man. Like, it's not the same thing. Anyways, let's get to it. So, now, if you saw in the other video, I had, no, it's not focusing very well. The pommel, like the body of this saber goes all the way down, and then it covers about right to about there, right? So it's recessed. I was like, that's got to be so you can cut into it and peel it back and do the whole blaster damage. So what I did was I drew out where I was going to cut. So I kind of like eyeballed it from looking at reference photos from the game, or just concept art that I could find, and drew it out. Looked at, there was another guy who did, and I'm sorry, man, I'm so bad at names these days. I think it's just being old and I partied too hard in my 20s. But he posted a video or pictures of his hilt, and he cut it up, and I was like, cool, it looks good, so I'm gonna do it. So whoever you are, if you're watching it, I'm so sorry, I can't remember your name, but thanks for inspiring me to be like, you know what, it's time to do mine. So I cut it up, and I got in there, right? Cut all my pieces, and then took pliers and peeled them off. Because now be careful with this though, because this anymore, and it would have probably broke off, and I didn't want that. So I was real careful on how much I bent these back to get that blaster damage. So once I did that, cut that in, right, and I cut like almost to the threads, so the pommel will thread off. Mine doesn't really anymore. It can, but I forced it in there and kind of held it down, and I think she's pretty tight in there. I don't really need it to go anywhere because the body on threads, right? So I got a chassis from Jeff over at Hexic Saber Installations. Jeff Birch, you guys probably know him. He does a lot. He's did one of these, but I'm gonna have his fixed chassis that comes out there anyways. So this pommel doesn't even need to go anywhere. I mean, I was surprised that I was able to get it on and off though, because I did cut a little into the threads. But that was okay. That was kind of I knew it was coming. I just didn't want to not be able to hold the pommel anymore. So the pommel's held on, thankfully, but I put it in, and then I did my cuts, just in case something happened. I could back off, or I could keep it and maybe Loctite it in there. But she's in there for good right now. And then I took a bunch of wires, different sizes, different colors. I just went for, I think there's some blue, maybe, in like some concept art, or like a poster. But I just went with black. I think I got like 2 black ones, 2 red ones, and I think a white one. They're kind of different sizes. And then I took some copper and Where's my copper one? Copper and brass rods, and I bent them up just a little bit. And so the pommel has it's a really cool pommel, tons of venting in there. If you get the kit, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's these little slits and then a hole. It's like a slit and a hole in the slit. It goes all the way around. There's a ton of holes all the way around, and then there's two one, two, yeah, then two kind of longer vents for sound. So hopefully sound will be really good on this thing. But I just Loctite and then a little bit of JB Weld, so it will look nasty when you look down in there. And I just played with it and did what I thought looked cool, you know? I mean, it's as close as you can get it. The one gripe that I do have about this kit is I wish that there was maybe the pommel was a little bit further down, because if you look at the game, I mean, this works, this does it, I like it, but it's much further up, almost like if you were holding it right here, it's almost like this piece comes up more. So I would have liked to have had more of an area to open that up more, but this works great. I actually have once I've seen it and done it, I'm all about it. I think it's good enough. The rest of the hilt is all aluminum black weathering. I don't know how well you can see that. Aluminum black, and I left it on there for a second. May not be able to see it that well because of this. So yeah, sorry guys, I don't got the best lighting situation going on here. So my kit was like the silver finish. There's like two finishes you can get. One's kind of like I don't know, like a black chrome, I guess. I'm not really sure. I was glad this was the like chrome finish looking one, because I like to have a nice base to go ahead and go off on. So when I started the aluminum black, poured it on, got it going, did my process, and I just forgot there's such a like protective shiny layer, so like the aluminum black won't get to it. So I took some Scott Bright, some sandpaper, and I grinded it down in some areas, and then that gave way to the first layer and allowed me to get some of that chemical aging in there. So there is some, again, up close, if you in person you can see it actually changes the color of the aluminum, right? Because I mean it's like rust. Oh, there you go, you can kind of see it. But it has this darker brown burn rust type stain in some areas, and sometimes you'll see it when you're looking at it, and in person you'll see it up close. But I love the way it turned out, and that's just from letting it sit for a minute. And then of course once it was done doing its thing, once the aluminum black was done doing its thing, I took that Scott Bright and I broke it down, some steel wool, and I hit the high spots so you can get that shine. So you can see like this area right here, these lines right here, just all the high spots to highlight edges, like where it would rub, like because his hand goes up and down right there, so all the high spots, corners are gonna get knocked down. But yeah, I love this hilt very much. As soon as I got it, I was like, yep, that's a good feeling hilt. Two-hander, for sure. But, I mean, I thought about how cool it would be to do the staff, but I'm not the biggest staff guy. I mean, I like them, don't get me wrong. Just building them, it seems like maybe I'm just too cheap to like pay twice. You know what I mean? I know you can run it off of one board, but I wanted to do the standard one for the game, Cal Kestis Saber, because I love that cannon. I mean, I know his Master T'Pol has it. I know it starts out like that, but I love the battle damage like blaster of the hills. I love it all. But yeah, just wanted to do a real quick show of the weathering. so you guys get a good deal on that. And then after all was said and done, I just clear coated it to because I got it to where it was. Well, actually once I had it all down, I spent some time getting this the way I wanted it, and this is why you should take your time, people. I I grabbed a white spray paint rattle can that was next to all my stuff, and I was like, clear coat, and I was like, oh no! So I had to break it down and redo it again, and I was like, okay, all right. So lesson learned, guys, and it happens all the time, but take your time. Good thing with weathering is you can always redo it to an extent. With some of the aluminum black, you let it sit too long, and you could darken it like too much. There's no going back. Well, maybe if you really buff it out, but at the same time, like, you don't want to have to sit there and do that. So for a fallen kit, it's not extremely accurate. You know, there are some things missing in the emitters, but I don't mind. I think it looks good as is. It's good enough. It's like 95% accurate, something like that. That's good enough for me. So yeah, I love it. You guys get one last little look in there. Alright, so every time I bring it closer, it like starts to, my phone won't focus in on it. But there you go. Weather it up. I have a video on my weathering tutorials. I should have just filmed it, but at the same time I was rocking and rolling, y'all. Flying down that weathering road, no time for stopping, only to spray with white. But yeah, that's basically it. I really do want to see, because I think this is Korbanth and 89sabers. I know they're out right now. Don't know when they're gonna restock them. Maybe for a little, maybe like a month or so. Don't hold me to that. But I know that there's other people who do it. Like I said, I mentioned the Saberforge one, which to me, I can't go back now that I've had this. It's just not for me. And I believe Dennis Lukianoff, who made the Creepy Uncle lightsaber that I have, the Luke Creepy Uncle from Last Jedi. Amazing machining. I love that hilt, and I believe he mentioned something about possibly doing a Fallen, and if that's the case, y'all keep an eye out for that, because that will be a nice hilt. I'm pretty sure it'll be a little bit more accurate at the pommel, like the body, and he'll probably already do that damage for you, I would imagine. I don't know. But I personally loved doing my own version of that. This was a lot of fun for me. I spent most of the day just like, how am I going to do this, do that, and I dig it. Alright guys, so possibly have this installed in the next week or so. We'll see. I know somebody asked, sorry again, terrible with names, asked if I would do a install video with me installing it. I may not. I kind of like to get in my own groove. I don't really want to talk on camera while I'm installing. I kind of jam out to music and do my thing. Plus, I take a little bit longer than the normal. I'm sure people will pump out installs in an hour. I'll take like 4, just because like I like to chill and do it. It's me time. But hopefully I'll think about it. But I wouldn't hold me to it. But I will have a video, of course, when it is completely installed. So, and for those of you wondering, again, aluminum black. That's what I used. Almost the whole build is aluminum black, some Scott Bright to break it down, some steel wool, paper towels, all that stuff, water, and just kind of go about it. And yeah, it turned out really good. It's just trial and error. It's practice, just doing it a bunch of times. I've been doing this for a couple of years, so I kind of know when to like jump in and be like, oh no, hold on, come back. So yeah, super happy with it. Hope you guys like it. Hope you dig it. And I'll see you in the next video.